Alright, hi everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I know I usually talk about Sims and only the Sims on this channel, but today I'm going to be branching out just a little to talk about some other video games because this channel is Jamie Games. So I feel like I should talk about other games. Full disclosure before I get into this list, I think it's actually really funny that I run a gaming channel because I don't really game that much, to be honest. I also never really gamed that much when I was younger, and I don't really plan on getting into gaming that much. And that's not to say I don't enjoy the games that I do play now, it's just that I don't play that many. And with that said, that doesn't mean I'm only gonna be doing video games in the future. I actually have a few ideas of me wanting to talk and review about some other games out there. Number one that I wanted to talk about was Grand Theft Auto, which is weird. So I never really played Grand Theft Auto that much. Never was really that interested. With that thing though, I did play it when I was younger. It was definitely something more my younger brother was interested in. I'm pretty sure it was technically his game. It was like the one he wanted and played. And the reason I wanted to bring it up was it was one of the ones for the PlayStation. I don't remember which game it was, and PlayStation 2 to be specific. And in it, you play your character has to at one point go pick up this prostitute from a clinic, and I think it's suggested or hinted at that she was getting an abortion. Don't tell anyone in Alabama. As you're going forward, you have to like take her in your car and bring her somewhere. And the reason this has always stuck with me is because the way my brother and I always played this part so differently, because I was so like invested in like, who is she, what's her backstory, is she gonna be important later on? And like he used to like shoot her and abandon her and like, or would drop her off and be like, okay, off to the next thing. And I was so like, who is she, who is this character? Should we? And as I got older, I realized she was really supposed to just be a sex object, not an actual character. So that was fun. And the next game I want to talk about is a game franchise, and that is the Resident Evil franchise. With that saying, I really was only that ever invested in Resident Evil 4, and that's one where you play as Leon Kennedy and you're going to find the president's daughter in this like vaguely Spanish medieval town. It's very vague. Where are they? I couldn't tell you. And I loved that game because as a closeted gay kid, I had a huge crush on Leon Kennedy, and I think this was actually a reoccurring theme. If the character was vaguely emo, I was like, that's my husband. And then I stopped playing the Resident Evil franchise after number 5. That's because I never finished number 5, and that's where I think you play as his name's Cliff? No, Chris something. I'm, like I said, I was really only ever invested in Leon and Ada. The rest of the characters, I was kind of like, oh, if you show up again, that'd be cool, but I'm not invested. But speaking of other emo heartthrobs, one Game Boy game franchise I was really into was the Harvest Moon games. I don't know if anyone ever played these. I know there was a GameCube one, some other ones, but I only ever played it on Game Boy. And there was 2 versions. There was a boy one, and I was like, Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town, and then Harvest Moon with the girl version, which was more Friends of Mineral Town. And I don't know if that was just like a marketing tactic to have a boy version and a girl version, or if just like the boy version came out and then the developers were like, hey, maybe girls like farming too. Either way, I think whatever the reason for doing that is a little shady. The thing about Harvest Moon that was so weird was that it didn't really have a plot. Like in the Game Boy version, your character starts off as a child in this like flashback sequence where they get lost in Mineral Town. I don't know if their family's there on vacation or if they just like were visiting people there. It's not really a tourist destination, so I don't know why they were there. Your character's lost, and they get found by this farmer, and this farmer brings you like to their farm, and like you have a good day, I guess, and like have a grand time at this like stranger's house. You also befriend someone of the opposite sex that's your age. And the premise is you come back years later, and the farmer has passed and has left the farm to you in their will. Like, wow, if anyone like ever left me a farm, I would be like, yeah, I don't know them. I met them once, was just coming to visit. I don't need a farm, but thank you.
I don't know her.
Then in Harvest Moon, your character, pretty much you just spend the rest of the game farming and trying to make the farm great and trying to make your money, and while also you're trying to get married, or one of the goals is for you to get married to one of the townspeople. And there's like a whole selection of them, and as you befriend and romance them, like different like storylines open up. There's like this one character named Cliff who's an outsider who's come in, and I think they're living with the priest or the pastor, which was also weird. There's like a plot line where I think if you're befriending them and or romancing them, there's like this whole plot where you find him collapsed in the middle of town in winter, and I think like the implication is just, oh, he just fainted because he was cold or malnourished or something. And I, for some reason, was like, oh, like as a young child, was like, drugs. I don't know if that says about me or how I grew up. And then there's this character named Gray, and he's super emo. And I always tried to romance him when I played the girl version, which also reminds me, you cannot romance someone of the same sex. And I think that's because at the end of the game, you're supposed to realize that whoever you've romanced and married is the young child that you met when you were a young child visiting Mineral Town. And I think like that idea is cute, but also like I really just wanted my gay farmer to marry Gray, but I never got that, so thanks Harvest Moon. Also with that franchise comes another one. It's the DS game, and I played that and I never finished it. I think there's a pattern of me never finishing games as I got older, but I feel like I had a reason for this one. I think it's because I think my DS just stopped working, and then also like the plot's just so convoluted. So unlike the Game Boy one where you're just farming and like trying to get married and start a family and like pet cows, there's this whole plot where there's like this harvest goddess and then this like princess witch, I think she is, and like the princess witch is like vaguely evil. She's not like super evil, but she's like vaguely like malicious and does like questionable things. And in it, the princess witch banishes the harvest goddess to this other dimension or something. It's very vague. As well, she also banishes like 101 100 sprites. The 101th one is a baby sprite, I guess. I read that online. I don't know if that's true. But yeah, so then you're just, as you're farming this land, and as you meet all these different milestones and like find different places, you like unlock all these different sprites and find them and bring them back. And the whole point is you want to bring back all 100 of them because they have the combined power, I guess, to bring the harvest goddess back. It's very vague. I don't know. My favorite part about the DS one is that you could use the touch screen to like pet the chickens and the cows, and that's just like all I ever wanted. So thank you Harvest Moon for that. So that was a positive. Other Game Boy games I also wanted to talk about, because I feel like most of the games I grew up playing were Game Boy, despite also having a PlayStation. My brother kind of dominated the PlayStation, and I also never really bought that many PlayStation games. So this other one I want to talk about is Pokemon Yellow. It came out in 1998 for the Game Boy Color. just dated myself a little there. And in it, you kind of follow an Ash Ketchum-esque story in which you start off with Pikachu and you go on from your hometown and go around the world and find all the Pokemon that were available in 1998. I'm gonna be honest, I never finished that game either, but that's not because I gave up. It's partially for two reasons. One, as soon as I found Jigglypuff, that's all I ever caught. But yeah, so this was before Jigglypuff was even like useful in the game. It was before they created the fairy type to counter balance the dragon type. So, alright, so next is another Game Boy game, Scooby-Doo Classic Creep Capers, I think it was called. And it's like this really bizarre, it almost feels like a fever dream sometimes when I think about it, which is weird because it really just follows the same formula as a standard Scooby-Doo episode. I feel like I had just gotten to a part where I just couldn't figure it out what the game wanted me to do, and then once again it just kind of died. So another game franchise I have not finished, but started, and this one actually I feel like I have a very legit reason for, and that was the Dragon Age series. I actually owned the first few I didn't own, I just kind of played with other people, so never really officially finished them, but I did play them. The first one I actually ever owned personally was Dragon Age Inquisition, and I played it on a computer that was decent. It kind of handled it, kind of not. It was really rough sometimes, and then that computer broke, and I got a different computer that was so bad I couldn't handle anything. Couldn't handle The Sims 3, couldn't handle Dragon Age Inquisition. So I stopped playing it. My current computer, though, can play Dragon Age Inquisition, and I do have this goal to play it and finish it. The only reason I haven't yet is because, for one, it takes up so much space. It's like 50 gigabytes. It's a large game, which makes sense. For when it came out, it was this beautiful game, and it's still very beautiful. I actually played it recently and then removed it from my computer with the intention of one day going back. The only thing I noticed that I feel like does not hold up is the hair doesn't look that good anymore, but the skin is scarily real. And now the last game I want to talk about is Marvel Future Fight, which is a mobile phone game. And I feel like some people, you say mobile phone games and they're very quick to be like, those aren't real video games, and I disagree. The graphics, I think, are absolutely beautiful, especially for a mobile game. I just think it knocks it out of the park. Not just the graphics, but the animations also look so good. There's a little screen where you can watch the character animations, as well as just their animations in-game. Great. And then another thing that I like about it versus some other mobile games, specifically Marvel games, is I don't like turn-based games, meaning you have a team of 3 and the enemy has a team of 3 and each person gets one hit. No, that's not how, for one, fighting works, and that's coming from a pacifist. And two, it just drags out in a way that does not feel good and doesn't feel immersive. And that's another thing, Marvel Future Fight really goes out of its way to feel immersive, in the sense that it also, it's one of the first Marvel games, and one of the ones that does it the best, to really incorporate the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It has updates specifically attached to it. It will add game modes and uniforms that really are specifically inspired by the movies for the game. And the way they also do this so seamlessly is the game is based around this idea of these dimension rifts being ripped open and different dimensions being in danger, and all the dimensions and the universes kind of collapsing in, and your characters need to fight to save your universe, your dimension, and try to stop all these rifts from happening to save all the other dimensions. I know this wasn't officially a review, but I was kind of reviewing these games that I used to play and really liked. And I really just wanted to take this moment also to once again just announce that I really am going to try to be branching out from just my Sims content. And once again, like I said, I really made this channel because my inspiration for a lot of my builds in The Sims 4 come from art history, and I wanted a place where I could show my building process while also talking about art history, because I have a background, I have a degree in art history, and I love The Sims, so that was my idea. I just wanted to mesh the two. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you next time. Make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment. And until next time, check out some of my other videos, as well as make sure to check out my social media links in the description. Thank you so much and have a great day.